So, because because I'm very clear that the dramatic situation of the current situation will put this situation on the table very, very quickly. I think Frau Merkel will be confronted with this situation very quickly, or probably very quickly. We should make her aware so that she can actually look into this situation. The best way for her to do this is that as many people as possible become part of this debate. I think without pressure from the base, from the population, nothing is going to happen. I think Mrs. Merkel can learn, but she could definitely learn better. We should definitely support her in her ability to learn. In 2007 in January, she said in a speech, there won't be a state's orgy of re-regulation of the hedge funds. Now she's saying we need transparency around the hedge funds. So at least she's learned something. So for her to understand what a credit system is, we have to create a public debate that she cannot avoid discussing this credit system. So we have work to do. So in Germany, there are people have a sense of what this is going to be. That Germany, without Russia, China, India, the U.S., is not going to be able to function. So, therefore, if we have a signal from these countries, that here we will also be able to work. So, in the question of the next 50 years, I think that what motivates me, people sometimes ask me why I do what I do against all this resistance and everything. I have a clear idea how the world could look what could be a more just world. I have an idea of what a renaissance could look like. I can imagine a human society where people actually have worthwhile creativity and so all the potential that is in each person, and if each person could be unfolded and blossom, we would have a totally different society. Maybe some of you have had have been blessed enough to work with top-rate scientists. I have worked with Italian or spoken with Italian, with German, Russian scientists, and they have a totally different way of thinking. They have much more different happiness. So a concert pianist is happy to have his job. I'm glad I'm getting money that I can do my hobby all the time. Well, so I think myself that we have to get away from the idea that we create a situation that human beings have to fight for their daily bread. That is not dignified for humanity. So Africa could be developed. Africa in 50 years could have a blooming Sahara where giraffes eat figs from the palm trees that grow in the desert. That's a picture. That's an image. You could have beautiful new cities. You have universities. You could have space stations. You could have a garden with new things, but where humans have enough, but people have enough to have a decent and dignified life. A system where 2 billion live badly, 2 billion further are poor, and only 1 billion lives good. the so-called golden billion, and 0.1% of that are super rich. But the majority of humanity cannot live. This system cannot stay. And therefore, if we change that each nation does what it wants, and they have the ability to do that. I don't think there's any nation in the world that will say, I want to have famine and I want to have dry periods where, the farmers can't produce anything. And there are some countries that do well when it's raining, but then there's seven years of dryness, and then people starve. That's crazy. When it's very simple to have irrigation, to create fresh water, to develop farming, simple things. But what we in Germany are just take for granted. I personally went for Khartoum to Amman. It's 3.5 hours over desert. I look, maybe there's an oasis somewhere. I didn't see a single oasis. I didn't discover one. And when I landed in Frankfurt, I thought, my God, water, everything is green. No human being in Germany would even think about that how much water we have here. It's normal to have water here. Enough water for all human beings is one thing that people can live. Not water that is, filled with bacteria, and those are so simple things. If humanity cannot change this, then I think we will collapse. So I will ask you that you will mobilize with us so that this crisis is not a lost chance, but this chance so that this old bankrupt system should be replaced by a new one. That we can see it in the horizon. That's why I put the positive developments at the beginning of my speech, because this is growing, and we have to put it on the table here. And I want to ask you to help us.